welcome everybody to another video of Dead by Daylight. My name is Cubeproductions. Today we're using Skull Merchant, as always, using a really interesting build using the perk BBQ and Chili. Very simple perk. What this perk does, after you hook a survivor, you can see the aura of all other survivors as long as they are 40 minutes away from the hook for 5 seconds. We have Surge, we down a survivor, we're going to automatically make all generators that are away from us explode, lose 8%, and start regressing. You know what Score Troop Resonance does, and then of course we have Corrupt Intervention, using Vital Targeting Processor, and lastly running my stroke as our add-ons. Without further ado, let's switch to the game so I can show you how great this build is. Okay, playing on the Underground Complex, a really good map for Skull Merchant. At first, I thought this map was pretty bad with Skull Merchant because of the fact that most of the time, indoor maps are hit or miss with Skull Merchant. They can either be really good because you can sneak up on survivors, they don't know where you're coming from, and also your drones can catch them off guard because even though your drones are in a space where it's not gonna be fully effective, at that same time they kind of have to go through the corridor, and that means they're gonna have to go in front of the drone and get scanned by it. Right here I see a survivor and I'm like, I want to chase you, but because I saw her go towards a pallet, I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go to someone who's actually gonna be easier to chase, and actually I can probably lock on Zax on, but my drone is moving slower than I thought. He's gonna drop a thing on me, but it's not gonna matter because of the fact I look up. So because I look up, he's not gonna be able to hit me. And now he's gonna go in the top 4 for some reason, like I'm not gonna be able to hit him. And now he's gonna go back down, and then he has balance landing, I believe, so he's flew. And I'm like, dang it. So now I'm like, do I even chase you at this point? But because I already injured him, I realize he's the best option to chase. I know the pallet right here, but he's not gonna throw it down because he knows a really good pallet. And so he's gonna go to this really annoying pallet. But because he threw it down immediately, I was able to actually hit him, even though he was kind of on the already other side of the pallet. Kind of got lucky with the hit, if I'm being honest, but I knew we got to play Dead by Daylight so much that hit would work because of how it works. So because of that reason, I got a hit. Now I automatically lose my Corrupt Intervention immediately, but I use my, of course, BBQ and Chili, so I know exactly where the survivors are. The main reason why I'm using this perk and trying to showcase it today, and trying to see if I want to use it on Skull Merchant, I kind of feel like BBQ and Chili would be a better perk if they actually made it so instead of being 40 meters, it was 32 meters. I think it'd be fine. The only reason I say 40 meters, sometimes survivors are like just outside of terror radius where they, where of course they're gonna be unaffected by it, but they're also just close enough to where BBQ and Chili doesn't work. Also, most people are using distortion anyway, so BBQ and Chili doesn't almost never works. There we go, English. So because of that reason, I kind of feel like they should maybe buff it, or maybe I just shouldn't use this perk, honestly. But I have a lot of value out of it. And then sometimes I play on the map like the game, and the map's so small it barely even is 40 meters. So it's like I play on that map, and it feels like I don't get any value out of it because the map is so small. So right here, this survivor's like, I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna drop this, and I'm like, oh. So I'm gonna chase her. I know she's gonna make the pallet before I can do anything, but she goes a really weird direction that I wasn't expecting her to go. Then I'm kind of nowhere near that pallet, and yet it stuns me, and I'm like, what? So that was kind of dumb. But then I see blood, and I'm like, oh, it's David. And let me down him again. So I'm almost certain they're gonna try and like stun the pallet on me when I pick him up. But luckily, no one was there to stun the pallet on me, so I'm gonna be able to hook him on the score trick. This girl's like, I have borrowed time. And I'm like, man, I don't care what you have. I'm going to hook him anyway. So I don't know why they did that. And then someone gets a claw up on them, and I'm like, wow, this game is going really well. So it's just like death to everyone, literally. So the guy right here, I'm going to go after him because he just got a claw up on him. Sadly, I don't have brown nose generator, so he's not going to be oblivious. But it's not going to matter because he ran around in front of me for some reason. Doesn't even matter if he's oblivious or not. He's going to run around in front of me. And now someone has a claw up on them, so I'm going to go after them. And everyone's injured, and it's just the best thing ever. Like, literally amazing. So because of that reason, I'm going to hook this person. Not on a score trick, but I'm going to hook them. Then, of course, because of my, what's it called, BBQ and Chili, I know exactly where to go. So another reason why it's pretty good on Skull Merchant, by the way, is because Skull Merchant can make itself unintelligible. So knowing exactly where to go and making survivor unintelligible is really good. Well, making yourself unintelligible is really good. So right here, this girl's going to drop this pallet. But instead, she's like, wait, I know Skull Merchant's going to mind game, so I'm not going to drop it immediately. Then instead of mind game the pallet again, she just goes straight to the right. I think she's gonna go on the pallet and try mind game, but she's like, nope. And now she's gonna go back to the exact same pallet. And I'm like, ugh. I know she don't drop it because it's kind of obvious, but she doesn't vault it, surprisingly. But the problem is, there's not really any other safe pallet she can get to, so she's going to die. There's no way she's gonna get to that pallet fast enough. And thanks to Surge, we can also make sure every single other pallet, every single other generator is going to be regressing once we down every single survivor. And then because he's on the literally opposite of the map, we can use barbecue and chili, and we know exactly where to go again. So because we know the survivors to the left, to become unattainable, pretend like I'm not gonna go towards him, and then murder himself. So now he's murdered, next person down, and he's probably like, wow, this is fun. And he's gonna get hooked on the exact same hook I hooked him on earlier, but then I realized a score trick over here, so might as well hook him next to the girl who's already on the hook and get score trick value. So now I'm gonna get another barbecue and chili. I see this person is gonna be on my drone, and I see they're also the person that has a cloud trip on them, so I'm like, okay, I know exactly where to go again. Like literally, this build is like hunt all survivors down immediately. So because of that reason, David's gonna get murdered. This girl kills up on the hook and she's like, I'm not playing anymore. I'm like, okay. Now instead of David dropping that pallet like a smart person, he decided to just run thinking I was gonna like respect it or something, but no. I'm already in a big lead. I don't really have to respect any pallets at this point. Hook this person on this hook. Barbecue and chili activates again. And we know one person to the right and one person to the left. So I'm gonna go after the person to the right because they didn't see me, so I can most likely sneak up on them with my untouchable. But because of the fact that they kept running, they didn't even really care about gens. I wasn't really able to sneak up on them as easily as I wanted to. Then this time I expect the girl to drop the pallet, so I decided to what's it called? Respect it. But again, just like David, she just like, I'm gonna run straight to the pallet instead. I'm like, why? So as a result, I was like, well, she's gonna go to the next pallet. But then she misplayed and she got stuck on a suitcase or whatever that is, a container. And this time I'm gonna use barbecue and chili again to find out what the next person is. But right here you can see I didn't get any value out of barbecue and chili because the guy was actually 32 meters near the hook. So because of that reason I didn't get any value out of the perk. But because the scratch marks are going this direction, I know he's here. I'm just gonna follow the blood. I actually kind of ignore scratch marks and mainly follow blood, if I'm being honest. So because of that reason, I know he's nowhere near the hook, so he can't even go for the save. And the girl also realizes that he's nowhere near the hook, and she's like, I kill myself. I'm like, sure. So right here, I'm like, wait a minute, I have a big brain play. But I'm here, and then I just murder him. Like literally, this guy has not been able to play the game for the entirety of the game. And then he rage quit to make it even better. Like it's just barbecue and chili broken. Even though I didn't get any value out of it just at that one moment. But it's just the fact that I even had that big brain play and it worked out in my favor. It's kind of insane. But yes, barbecue and chili is a really good perk on Scrum Merchant sometimes because it literally just allows her to snowball. And what I mean by snowball, I mean like basically I get one down and then they go to rescue, I get another down, and I just keep going over and over and over and over again. Forever basically until I win. And they didn't do a single gen that entire game. I just knew exactly where they were and exactly where to go. So that was the first game. Let's go to the second game so I can show you how great this build is. Okay, playing on the game. Remember how I literally just said that this perk, barbecue and chili, has a high chance to just not work on maps that are kind of small. Lo and behold, a map that's kind of small. So right now we're playing on the game. The game is a interesting map for Scrum Merchant because, again, just like I said, it's an indoor map. Well, kind of. It's like an indoor map, but in reality, it acts more like an outdoor map because it's a giant building. But this map can either be really, really good for Scrum Merchant or literally awful. It just depends. So right here, I'm going to go get rid of this drone and put it in a better spot because I know this guy is going to try and use this pallet to his advantage. Might as well get him injured if I can. But I made a big misplay and I went down right there. I should have just went around instead of going down there. I don't know why I did that, honestly. But it's kind of fine because I know I'm going to get a hit right here because he can't make it to the pallet fast enough. And if he doesn't make it to the pallet, it doesn't really matter because he doesn't get, hopefully, a cloud trap on him. So I'm going to spin my drone in that direction, hit him one more time, and cloud trap. Now I know he's cloud trapped, so I'm going to go after him because he's already injured. But he gets a lot of distance, so I was like, oh, that could be a problem. But because of my add-ons, I know if I hinder him, he'll be hindered for a long time. Put the drone up, so I was able to get the drone up, but I did get slammed. And then I'm like, okay, it's fine, my drone is still there, so I don't have to worry. But I thought he didn't drop down because I didn't hear him fall, but he did drop down. So now I'm like, okay, I know there's a window right here. And I thought at first he had mind gamed me because I didn't hear him vault the window. But in reality, he did vault the window. He just slow vaulted it to make it seem like he wasn't going to vault it. Then we're going to hook him and use barbecue and chili to see absolutely no one. So there are 3 ways to counter barbecue and chili. The first way is to just have the perk distortion. You just say no to the perk. Like, you literally just say no, and then barbecue and chili is useless. The second way to counter it is to hide in a locker. If you hide in a locker, barbecue and chili does not work on you because you're in a locker and your aura is not shown to the killer as a result. Even though I think there are other perks that do show your aura in a locker. I could be wrong about that, but I'm almost certain there are. But for some reason, barbecue and chili is like the exception to the rule. And then lastly, of course, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but I'm pretty sure there's other perks. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen the aura of a survivor when they're in a locker before. I could be wrong about that, but yes. So because of that reason, that's the second way you can beat it. And the third way you can beat it is just being 40 meters near the hook. But like I told you, on this map, it's kind of easy to do that because of the fact that this map is not really big. So unless you're really on the other side of the map, it's kind of hard to get value out of barbecue and chili on this map. So I kind of got unlucky. And that's one reason why I do not use barbecue and chili on Scar Merchant. I just feel like there's 2 reasons why I don't use. The first reason is, like I told you, maps are big. If it's a big map, it's useful. If it's a small map, it's not. So if you hook a survivor in the middle of the map, then barbecue and chili is kind of useless because of the fact that you basically are hooking them in the middle of the map, and you have to pray they're either on one side of the map or the other side of the map, and they're 40 meters away from the hook. So it's like, okay. And if it's on a small map, you don't get any value out of it sometimes. That's the first problem. And the second problem I have with barbecue and chili is normally when you want to know where to go, you're using a kill that can move really fast, but Scar Merchant is not one of those kills that can move really fast. So sometimes I know exactly what the survivor is, but I don't have the ability to down them because they're like really far, really far. And I'm like, dang it, there's no way. So right here, I didn't even know a pallet could spawn at that spot, by the way. But right here, I'm gonna chase this ace and try and murder his soul because of the fact that I injured him. I caught him off guard by becoming unintelligible. But a god pallet right here because this map is basically god pallet heaven. Literally, Pallet City is the game. So because of that reason, I'm not going to be able to chase him very often if he gets to every single pallet on the map. Speaking of every single pallet on the entire map, 2 god pallets right next to each other. Well, not really. I don't think one of them kind of god pallet, but I'm going to count it as one. But then the guy makes a misplay and he goes down here. But not gonna matter because there's a pallet right here too. So I'm like, why am I even chasing you at this point? On the bright side, every single pallet is gonna be gone at the end of this chase. But the problem is I can't really chase you if you're gonna use every single pallet. So I just give up on him because no point in trying to chase someone who I can't chase. Then I'm gonna go after this guy instead. But he's like, I have the perk. I have spin burst. So I'm like, yay. Then I find Ace again. So I'm like, sure, I'll go after Ace. So I'm gonna mind game and pretend like I'm not gonna go over there, but I did. I thought Ace was out the window because of the fact that the window is pretty good in the situation, but he's like, nope. Then they do 2 gens immediately, so I'm like, oh, not immediately. They do 2 gens, and I'm like, dang it. Then he bossed that pallet that I didn't break because of god pallet, and I should have broke it earlier, but I didn't. But I see someone else on the generator, so I'm like, yeah, no. And I kick the generator. And this is a part of the game where basically I end up being a 3-gen merchant. So what ended up happening is because I was trying to chase one person, just getting him out the game, I ended up losing the game because they did 2 gens, and I'm like, dang it. So I went around the entire map chasing one person, they ended up doing 2 gens somewhere else. So I'm gonna break this pallet. I'm gonna hope they don't do the generator that's right here because I put that drum right here. So luckily they didn't do it. Ace got healed, so I'm like, dang it. But now I see there's 3 gens right next to each other, and I'm pretty sure the generator and the the bathroom is gonna be almost done. Then I'm gonna see Ace again, so I'm like, okay, this time I'm gonna catch you. But there's a pallet right here. I know he's gonna drop the pallet down, but luckily I put a drum right here, so he gets a claw trap. But because I don't want them to do the generator, I'm gonna check the gen first, just to make sure no one's on it, and no one's on the generator. So I'm like, great. The one time where I really wish I had brown noise generator so I can make someone oblivious, but nope. So right here, someone gets claw trapped, and I'm like, yes, perfect. So I'm gonna down him, and then that generator is gonna regress even more, and now I'm gonna down him on a hook him on a score trip, and that generator should lose even more progress. So I check, and that generator did lose progress, and then I finally get use out of barbecue and chili. So I know exactly where to go next. So I'm gonna become unintelligible and get as close to the survivor as possible and catch him off guard. And lo and behold, I murder him. So I get a free hit. The problem is there's like 14 god pallets right next to him. But for some reason, he goes towards the windows instead of going towards the god pallets. So I'm like, yay. But then he realizes his mistake and he's like, well, why don't I just use the 2 god pallets that exist on this map? And I'm like, yay. This is fun. So now I gotta do it with the god pallet because of the fact that this map is annoying when it comes to pallets. But I decided to not chase him and go back towards the generator because of the fact that if I lose one of these gens, I lose the game. Also, I knew obviously they're going to be in the gens because that's what they're supposed to be doing. It only makes sense. So basically, like I said, I became a 3-gen merchant, sadly. Not really a 3-gen merchant. It's more like any killer would do this, but it's like I basically was in a position where because I couldn't chase someone on this map, I ended up being in this position. Now, if I had brown noise generator, this would be a whole different story. And the reason why I say that is because brown noise generator makes survivors oblivious. Of course, there's a power right here, by the way. Brown noise generator makes survivors oblivious. So if I would have got a claw trap on someone, I could have just been like, okay, I have a claw trap on you, and I'll go after you later, and you won't know where I'm coming from because you're oblivious. But instead, what ends up happening is I'm using battle targeting processor and randomized tropes. Kind of wanted to showcase randomized tropes on my videos. Kind of just don't really use it very often. If you watch my trailers video, you know that randomized tropes is not really that good of a add-on because you don't really need someone to be hindered for an additional second. Normally, just a 13% hinder lasts long enough to where you're gonna win. Right here, I swung knowing I wasn't gonna hit him, but I just wanted to do it anyway. And then I knew they were on the generator inside of the bathroom, but there was not really much I could do about it, honestly. So I'm like, okay, I'll let them have that one, and I see an opportunity to just use these 3 gens to my advantage. And now right here, this guy's like, okay, obviously I'm gonna get claw trapped, and he runs away to this annoying loop. Luckily, I have a drone so I can slow him down, but instead he just plays really badly, and I down him. So I know in this time they shouldn't be able to do that one generator, so I'm not really that worried about it. But at the same time, I'm worried about it because of the fact that the second I down a survivor, I was playing a survivor. The second I down a killer, well, if I'm playing survivor and the second the killer downs someone, I'm immediately gonna hop on the gen because I know exactly how to end the game. So I'm worried they're gonna be on the generators. I'm become untouchable, and go towards the gen. But luckily for me, they're not on that gen, and instead they're on this one. So I'm like, great, this god pad is already gone. I don't have to worry about it. Then they fail a skill check immediately. So because of that reason, I just end up winning, honestly. So now I'm like, this should be easy. But the problem is, I still have to figure out where this last survivor is. Well, at least 4 survivors are. I have 1 gen left and 4 survivors. Like, that's basically game over. But because Skull Merchant is Skull Merchant and also this map is this map, I win. In theory, I can win. Now, I know I said Skull Merchant is Skull Merchant, but I'm being honest, there are some way better killers that are better at 3-genning than Skull Merchant. But the game is notorious for being like one of the worst maps ever for survivors if they get 3-gen, because they just lose. Now, luckily for me, the survivors 3-gen themselves, I didn't just like, oh, I want to pick these 3 gens and win. Like, no, they literally did the generators that are so far from me. So right here, I'm like, okay, this guy clearly is going to waste my time, but if I can get a claw trap on him, I should be good. The problem is, the drone went up in the air for some reason, but then I claw trap him, so I'm like, great. And all I have to do is try and get him to be, what's it called? Hindered. For some reason, I don't know why, this palette is so safe. Like, literally no mind game possible. But for some reason, he decided to play like an idiot. So as a result, he gets claw trapped, hindered, and then dies. I don't know why he did that, if I'm being completely honest. But he did. So because of that reason, I get to hook him on a score trip. And I never hooked him on a score trip before. Actually, I never hooked this guy once. So because of that reason, I'm like, okay. And as a result, I'm going to be able to hook him and then make whatever generator has the most progress lose progress. Honestly, I probably wasted that score trick because I don't think any generator had progress. That gen on the top is like the best gen ever because literally it's so close to the other gen to where I can literally just sit in the spot and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's kind of sad. And this right here is the reason why they're probably going to be fixing 3 gens. Because 3-genning is really strong. But I want behavior and everyone who's watching this video to understand something. If you watch this video, you know I did not just literally 3-gen this entire map. I literally went out across every single gen to find out where survivors are. Chased one guy for like 2 minutes. down 2 people first before I even was in this position, and did everything in my power to basically not 3-gen. The survivors did generators that they were already working on because they basically went to the first gen they saw and they worked on it. Meaning that I did not 3-gen at all. The survivors 3-gen themselves. Also, I saw someone to my drone, so I know exactly where they are. I see this guy was on top, so I'll watch him fall, and I'll go after him later. But they tilt my drone, so I know someone's here. And someone is here. He has sprint burst, so I'm not that worried about him. But I have a drone right here, so I'm like, he could probably get a cloud up on him eventually, so I'm gonna go after him eventually. Everyone's injured, by the way. So that's really good for me. And that generator he was just on has like 2 progress on it, so I'm not that worried about it. But like I was saying, any killer can 3-gen. But this map is really good if you 3-gen the survivors on it because they can't really do much about it at all, especially with this generator setup. They got really unlucky. 2 gens spawned right next to each other. If I hear 1 gen being worked on, I can just go up top and I can just deal with it. Also, this gen right here is in a really bad spot, and the god pile is gone, so they can't really do much about it. But my point is, they're going to probably nerf 3-gens for whatever reason. But I noticed whenever I play killer, they 3-gen themselves, and I know some people can be like, you're playing Scrum Merchant, you purposely 3-gen. Like literally, I was watching one of my videos. I do watch my own videos back, by the way. I know maybe some people don't do that, but I like watching my own videos, by the way. I just like doing it. So I watched one of my videos where I was going against a streamer, because in particular I couldn't find the video, so I was like, okay, let me find the video. Finally found it, and I was like, okay, let me watch this video over again. In that video, a person, well not a person, the streamer, he was playing with 4 of his friends, I believe. One of them has said, "Oh, as a Scrum Merchant, he's already setting up his 3-gen," and the game had literally just started. It wasn't even like 20 seconds in. And if you know what video I'm talking about, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But I was like dead on the inside. I was like, "What do you mean? I'm already setting up my 3-gen? The game just started." Like, what? Huh? So it's just things like that that make me just like don't like playing Scrum Merchant because I know people are gonna automatically assume something, and I don't. And I feel like I shouldn't have to explain myself either. But I feel like if I don't explain myself, a lot of people are gonna get the wrong idea as to what I did in the game. But also, I want people to understand, like, no matter what killer you're playing in, no matter what killer you're playing as, I mean, if this situation like this happens to you, you're gonna do exactly what I'm doing. It's not a 3-gen Scrum Merchant thing. It literally is just oh, I have to defend these generators, and that's it. But like I was saying, behavior is going to nerf or change 3-gen in some way or form, which kind of scares me because I don't really know what they're going to do. But the only reason why it scares me is because I noticed a lot of times survivors 3-gen themselves and I don't 3-gen them. I never have actually played a game where I'm like, I'm going to pick these 3-gens. Aha! I'll do this and defend those gens. Like, no, that's boring, and honestly, doesn't even work all the time, so it's not even point in doing it. So because of that reason, I don't do that ever. But the fact of the matter is, I don't understand how behavior can fix 3-gens in a healthy way when normally survivors are the ones that 3-gen themselves in the first place. So knowing this, I don't quite understand what they're gonna do, and I also don't understand. And I also want to see what they're thinking, because I'm like, what are you gonna do? Like, you already, like, the survivors are the main ones that 3-gen themselves. And I know some people have told me, and I've even seen like comments on people's videos and also Twitch things where they said like there are killers that do go out of their way to purposely 3-gen. And the reason why that surprises me is because I honestly like I don't play Survivor that much. When I do play Survivor, I never get into a match where someone 3-gens. Like, it just never happens. I do get into a match where we 3-gen ourselves, and I get mad at myself and my teammates because I realize that I did that, and I'm like, well, we lost. There's no way we're beating this killer who already has 1 person dead in a 3-gen situation. Like, there's no way. So because of that reason, I'm like, dang it. But other than that, like I said, I rarely get into a 3-gen situation. So the fact that I'm in one right now is kind of funny. So right here, this guy's going to fail the drum in the game, so I know exactly where he is. I'm going to try and catch him off guard. I know he's going to go this way. But surprisingly, he decides to go on the generator, even though he clearly heard my terror radius. So that's fun. So now I'm going to be able to down him because there's nowhere he can go, because they already broke every single pallet. They already dropped every single pallet on this map, basically. And I know exactly what the survivors are. Like, I don't even need BBQ and chili anymore because I know what the survivors are. Like, they're gonna be on one of these 3 gens, and it's gonna be kind of obvious. So Right here, I'm like, okay, barbecue and chili didn't activate, but I hear someone and I know they're here, so I'm like, what are you doing? So I expected him to go for the rescue, but instead he goes for the pallet across the entire map. But I'm pretty sure I could have gotten to him by honestly being behind him. But right here, I'm going to mind game and make him go the other way because I know that if he drops the pallet in this direction, it's gonna be way better for me than the other direction. So I'm gonna make him do that. And right here, I get a lot of value out of randomized strobes because of the 7 seconds he has to go instead of the normal amount of time. I am gonna be able to down him. Also, notice how he had live and he moved faster, but also because of the fact that he moved 13% slower, plus I moved 3% faster, plus it lasts for 7 seconds instead of 6 seconds. His 150% movement speed didn't really last that long. So right here, I was gonna hit him, but the reason why I didn't is because I realized that he had what's it called? He had borrowed time. If you watch one of my videos, I talked about how borrowed time is a not borrowed time. Sorry, I meant to say off the record. If you watch one of my videos, I talked about off the record and how I said it's one of the best survivor perks ever, and that it should be in the game, and it's really healthy for the game, and I like it a lot. But then I also talked about how I feel like it's kind of dumb how you can use off the record to body block for someone else, even though you're supposed to be using it for yourself and to make yourself not be tunneled. So because of that reason, I kind of hate that perk. But obviously, there's not really much you can do about it because it's an endurance side effect. You can use the endurance side effect for whatever reason you want. Like, I'm not mad. Also, I don't know why that guy was right there with a perfectly good god palette right next to him. So I don't know why he was right there, but that's where he was. So I knew exactly where he was into my radar, and I murdered him. But my point is, I have a video coming up where not only do I use a different killer, by the way, I also have a game coming up where basically someone tried to body block me. These two Twitch streamers were literally playing, I guess, together, and one of them had borrowed time, and literally for 40 seconds of a chase, he decided to try and borrow time. I mean, not borrow time. For 40 seconds of a chase, he just had to use his endurance that he got from off the record to try and body block for his teammate. And I'm like, the fact that you even get the option to do this is dumb. Like, why? Why do you get this option? Like, I don't quite understand why this even works this way. But of course, like I said, it's not broken or anything. It is kind of like a pet peeve of mine. Like, I feel like you shouldn't get a 40-second chance to save your teammate all because you got unhooked and now you feel like being like a savior. Like, what? But anyway, while I was ranting about that, the game's over finally. So like literally the last like 8 minutes of this video had just been me trying to kill all these survivors who 3-gen themselves as Scrub Merchant. So yeah, that was the video. Me using barbecue and chili. I do recommend using it on Scrub Merchant. Sadly, we got a really bad map for it, but it worked out in the end because we were able to kill them all. Sorry if you watched this video and you were like, oh my gosh, 3-gen, like, I didn't mean to do it. It's not my fault. I'm sorry. It really just happened. It happened because they 3-gen themselves, and I tried chasing one survivor, and yeah, it didn't end up going very well because he was like, Pallet City, I love pallets. And I'm like, great, I lose. But yes, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I will see y'all in the next video. Have a nice day. Also, if you have any builds, let me know in the comments. I love reading y'all's comments. Have a nice day.